Hi there, and welcome to the Cotswold Explorer Wednesday poem. I'm Robin Shuckburgh. Now, the eagle-eyed amongst you may have noticed that I've been absent for a couple of weeks. My apologies for that, but I'm afraid I've been a little unwell. I was carted off very dramatically in an ambulance to the great Oxford Teaching Hospital, the John Radcliffe, where they did wonders and dragged me back from an acute infection which had threatened to do me some harm. I'm recovering fast and expect no further immediate problems, so hopefully our wonderful Cotswold Explorer adventures will continue uninterrupted for a while yet. Celebrating many things this weekend, we're going to be live streaming the show on Sunday the 1st of October at 3 p.m, so please join us then to mark, amongst other things, the publication of our edition of Evan's amazing book, The Highways and Byways in Oxford and the Cotswolds. Also, the incredible fact that you subscribers to our channel now number well over 50,000. And of course, to launch our normal October string of ghostly and horrific tales from the English countryside. Meanwhile, having been rather forcibly reminded of my own mortality, I'm going to read to you a poem that sprang to mind last week and put a firm smile on my face. I plan to read it to myself weekly in future. It's written by Lewis Carroll and appears in Alice's Adventures in Wonderland. It's recited by Alice to the caterpillar. It's called You Are Old, Father William, and it goes like this. You are old, Father William, the young man said, and your hair has become very white. And yet you incessantly stand on your head. Do you think at your age it is right? In my youth, Father William replied to his son, I feared it would injure the brain. But now that I'm perfectly sure I have none, why, I do it again and again. You are old, said the youth, as I mentioned before, and have grown most uncommonly fat. Yet you turned a back somersault in at the door. Pray, what is the reason of that? In my youth, said the sage, as he shook his grey locks, I kept all my limbs very supple by the use of this ointment. 1 shilling a box. Allow me to sell you a couple. You are old, said the youth, and your jaws are too weak for anything tougher than suet, yet you finished the goose with the bones and the beak. Pray, how did you manage to do it? In my youth, said his father, I took to the law and argued each case with my wife, and the muscular strength which it gave to my jaw has lasted the rest of my life. You are old, said the youth. One would hardly suppose that your eye was as steady as ever, yet you balanced an eel on the end of your nose. What made you so awfully clever? I have answered 3 questions, and that is enough, said his father. Don't give yourself airs. Do you think I can listen all day to such stuff? Be off, or I'll kick you downstairs. That's not said right, said the caterpillar. Not quite right, I'm afraid, said Alice timidly. Some of the words have got altered. It's wrong from beginning to end, said the caterpillar decidedly, and there was silence for some minutes. Now their confusion was understandable. Carroll wrote this poem as a parody of what was at the time a famous rhyme called The Old Man's Comforts and How He Gained Them by Robert Southey. It is a pious ditty, a bit preachy and sanctimonious, and you can easily see why Carroll felt it worthy of parody. It's one of those occasions when the parody became infinitely more famous than the original. And it goes like this. You are old, Father William, the young man cried. The few locks which are left you are grey. You are hale, Father William, a hearty old man. Now tell me the reason, I pray. In the days of my youth, Father William replied, I remembered that youth would fly fast, and abused not my health and my vigour at first, that I never might need them at last. You're old, Father William, the young man cried, and pleasures with youth pass away, and yet you lament not the days that are gone. Now tell me the reason, I pray. In the days of my youth, Father William replied, I remembered that youth could not last. I thought of the future, whatever I did, that I never might grieve for the past. You are old, Father William, the young man cried, and life must be hastening away. You are cheerful and love to converse upon death. Now tell me the reason, I pray." "I am cheerful, young man," Father William replied. "Let the cause thy attention engage. In the days of my youth I remembered my God, and he hath not forgotten my age." Now, that's telling the young amongst you. So, I'll see you next Sunday at 3 p.m, and then we'll be here to answer any questions you may have about the Explorer, and we'll tell you of our plans over the next year. It's really nice to be back. Goodbye.